Hello there guys, it's Chris Ventomania. It's kind of a little bit darker because it's like 10:15 in the evening, and I just noticed that Hayley has put up a Q&A video, so with her getting 1,000 subscribers, so congrats. I am a quarter of the way there. I've got 250 subscribers, so thank you to everyone who has subscribed to my channel. I really do appreciate it, more than you'll ever know, to be honest with you. So I've noticed that Hayley has put up one, and I noticed that Scott44 has put up one as well. So I thought I might as well get mine done out of the road now before mine clashes with theirs. So make sure you go over to Hayley's video, xswantongirly X, and Scott44 I believe it is, and post a question there. I think Stuart Climson is still doing one as well, so if you want to do his. So I'm going to get this ball rolling because I have a funny feeling this is going to be quite a long video, so I've got a bottle of water here just in case. So, first question is from the Ole Cal, says, do you like Curtis Axel? I do like Curtis Axel indeed, because of his, his heritage, because of the Mr. Perfect and Larry the Axe Hemming link there, obviously with him being Mr. Perfect's son. I do think he has a lot of potential. I did enjoy him whenever he was in the Nexus with Punk. I thought he was very good in that, so it's good to see that we've got a breakout star happening here. We've got somebody, rather than like an RVD or MVP or a known superstar, we've got somebody who's kind of been floundering down NXT, floundering around the bottom of the card, and now is kind of being propelled up because of the link with Paul Heyman, so I do like him indeed. Favourite gimmick match? Probably Money in the Bank, because of the amount of superstars you have in there. No, sorry, Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble would be my favourite gimmick match. I always look forward to that every year because obviously it's the road to WrestleMania. We see who's going to go to the main event. We see if there's going to be different feuds. We've seen like Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, to name but a few inside the Rumble itself. So that would probably be my favourite. And his other one is, what fave match of the last 5 years? I have a funny feeling he means, what is my favourite match of the last 5 years? Which would actually be Undertaker versus CM Punk from WrestleMania 29. I know it's recent, but it's because I was there. That's the reason why I've picked it. It's an awesome match from beginning to end. Just the fact that Undertaker hadn't been around for so long, and comes back, does that match, then he does the tag match with Daniel Bryan and Kane versus the Shield, then he does this match with Dean Ambrose. All of them were just absolute 5-star matches, so that would be mine. So thank you very much for that. Next is some randomer on YouTube, Sean Blackford I believe he's called. You may want to check out his channel. I don't really recommend it that much, but if you want to go and just hear some guy rambling on, then go and check it out. I'm joking, Sean. So he asks, what fave flavour of Monster Munch, which would be these, roast beef, which I actually devoured earlier on and totally forgot to ask this question, and I actually have it sitting beside me, so that plays in nicely. So yes, roast beef. And fave TMNT, I don't know if he means the series or what favourite turtle I have, but my favourite turtle would be Donatello, because he's quite the smart one, and he does a lot of the gadgets and stuff like that, so I always like seeing the gadgets, do that kind of stuff. The next one is from Doe Neck Red Dal. Do you watch PWG? If so, do you like it? I've never watched it, and I don't even know what PWG stands for. I'm going to say Pro Wrestling Gardens? I don't know. No, I haven't seen it. I will have a look into it after this and see. Scott44 says, what is your all-time favourite pay-per-view and why? My all-time favourite pay-per-view is WrestleMania 17 or Royal Rumble 2001 and SummerSlam 2002. A lot of people say WrestleMania 17 because that is probably the best WrestleMania card that you'll have from top to bottom. There's not a dud match on it. The TLC match is fantastic. The Triple H Undertaker match is outstanding. And then obviously Undertaker goes on to fight Flair at WrestleMania 18, which was just as good. The Austin Rock match, of course, with the heel turn of Austin aligning with Vince, was totally totally unexpected, but it was such a good storyline, and it was just something that was really, really important for the business, I think. So WrestleMania 17 would be number 1. Royal Rumble 2001 would be number 2. It's just the fact that I think obviously Austin wins that to go on to 17, but Kane really makes that Royal Rumble, you know, with all the eliminations and stuff. And just for me, it's really, even though that has the really early appearance of Sign Guy, he's the one who has all the signs up and wearing the shirt and the tie. So even back then, he was really annoying. Right, so the next one is from Overjobber. I don't know why I said Overjobber, but Overjobber. So if you was a wrestling promoter, who would be your top 5 main eventers, past and present? Right, okay, you would have Stone Cold Steve Austin, you would have Hulk Hogan, you would have Shawn Michaels, you would have, now I don't know whether to say Bret Hart or Kurt Angle. I'm going to go for Bret Hart because Bret Hart isn't as injury prone as Kurt Angle is. See what I did there, because I'm a wrestling promoter, I have to think of the wonga. And number 5, so I've said Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart. 5th one. I'll go for CM Punk. So well, even though I'm wearing a Triple H t-shirt, but I'll go for CM Punk as well, because obviously then you're going to have those 5 as your main guys, and you know, Hogan may not be the best technical wrestler, but he can get the crowd in their frenzy. They all can, but obviously then you would have the Hogan-Austin match that everyone wants to see, and that brings in the money. It's all about the money, as they say. You could have Shawn and Bret, kind of with a rivalry, or you could have Shawn versus CM Punk, that kind of thing. So yeah, good question there. Who do you think will win the Money in the Bank briefcases from both Raw and SmackDown this year? That is a tough one. Because there isn't really, you know, like you get Raw superstars to go over to SmackDown, SmackDown to go over to Raw. If you're talking, I would love Cody Rhodes to win it, because I would love to see them do something with him. I would love to see them finally pull the trigger like they did with Dolph Ziggler. So I would say Raw, yeah, well he's been on Raw more than SmackDown, would be him. And then SmackDown, I would love to see Damien Sandow. Now I know that's Team Rhodes Scholars, but I think that would be really, really good to see those two, because they're so young and stuff. But I have a funny feeling that it's going to be, I don't know whether Curtis Axel has been around long enough. Sorry, my eyes are really itchy. Whether Curtis Axel has kind of earned his stripes, so to speak, you know, to actually get the case to then climb, you know, to propel into the main event. But I hope they don't do what they did, you know, like and give it to Cena or give it to, you know, somebody who's been around a while. You know, this is the kind of to establish people like Dolph Ziggler has done, like Del Rio, etc. In fact, I'm going to change my answer. Well, no, I'm not, because that kind of just completely goes ahead of what I just said. So yeah, I'll stick with Cody Rhodes for Raw, and for SmackDown, well, I stick with Damien Sandow. Oh, I don't want Tensai to win it anyway. Yeah, I'll stick with Damien Sandow, because they've both kind of been on the fringes of doing something, but they keep either teaming up and then, you know, like it's one versus Sheamus, and then next week it's the other one versus Sheamus, and I would just like them to, you know, do something with them and see Damien Sandow in the main event, or Cody Rhodes in the main event as well. So thank you very much for the question there, sir. Next one is from Stuart Climson. He actually asked, he actually asked, Star Wars or Star Trek? Star Wars, hands down. Never ever been a Trekkie. Didn't like the film. Didn't go and see the second film. I know a lot of people go like, oh, like Robbie will probably go, oh my god, that's sacrilege. But it's always been Star Wars for me since I was a little baby, little kid. I was 5 years old. Went to the cinema to see Return of the Jedi with my dad. I'm that old, yes. When was that? 1983. Yeah. I remember laughing at the Ewok spinning around the speeder bike. There's a bit of useless trivia for you. So yeah, Star Wars, hands down, all day long, from beginning to end. Even the games. Next Generation or Deep Space Nine. Don't like either of them, so Next Space Nine. There, that one. Favourite finishing move. I do have a soft spot, as Alan will testify, for the clothesline from hell. Not that I did it on Alan. But I just love that move. I just whenever somebody springs into the turnbuckle and just the power behind it, and it's just absolutely awesome. That and the Stone Cold Stunner for me are two of my favourite moves. A very, very underrated move is Victoria's Widow's Peak. I think that would absolutely wreck your legs the way that's done. A very, very clever move by a very talented lady. Most underrated performer. I would say one that's underrated because at the minute, you know, like he's not even on TV. I don't know whether he's injured or not. But one that's underrated for me and had been, you know, like had been jobbing until he took his hiatus was Jack Swagger. I think if they did stuff right with Jack Swagger, he could have replaced Kurt Angle. You know, like he has that natural wrestling ability. Not that other people don't, but he just seems to know what he's doing in the ring at times, and then he can make stupid mistakes, but then the majority of them can do. But I think he is a very, very underrated performer. William Regal I really like as well. I think just his pure wrestling ability and stuff is just second to none, and plus the fact he's from England, so you know, that there. Favourite title belt, probably be that one. There, that one there. Because it's stayed around for so long, you know, there's been different belts that have kind of had different variations, whether it be the WWE title or whether it be the US title or the Intercontinental title, even though the white one looks lovely. The World Heavyweight Championship for me has always been my mainstay, you know, like since it was introduced in 2002. Whenever a friend asked me for my 30th birthday what belt I wanted, Alan had the undisputed title, so I didn't want to get that. Probably I was a toss up between that and the Winged Eagle, to be honest with you. So if I have the money, whenever at WrestleMania 30, the Winged Eagle may be going there. But there's two main factors on that, which I will get on to because there's another question pertaining to that. So thank you very much for these questions there, Stuart. JJ3628. I'd love to know how some people come up with these here names. 362874. Favourite film ever? I would have to say Return of the Jedi. I know a lot of people say Empire Strikes Back, but for me Return of the Jedi, because of what I've said earlier on, it's my earliest memory, is going to the cinema with my dad and watching it. I know they've kind of trashed it now with the no, and you know, the extra singing part in Jabba's palace, which was not necessary, but that's just George Lucas for you. So I am a big Star Wars fan. I love that one, and I love Revenge of the Sith as well. I think that is just ties all the loose ends together. Favorite WWE DVD in your collection? That's a tough one. I would probably say that I do enjoy a lot of the documentaries ones, and Stone Cold Steve Austin's his Blu-ray one. I can't even see it from here. Where is it? Stone Cold Steve Austin, the bottom line, the most popular wrestler, blah blah blah. I love that. That is just an outstanding documentary, and one that I think was the benchmark for a lot of them. Sorry, I just get very emotional. I just think that was a really, really good one, and I think Triple H's, whenever it comes out, will be very, very good. Hogan's one, Hulk Still Rules, is a very good one, and Eddie Guerrero's is very, very good. The Cheating Life, Stealing Death, I think it's called. Favourite actor? I'm trying to think of, you know, I would say if there's one film that I enjoy watching time and time again because the person absolutely encapsulates what this person is Robert Downey Jr. in Iron Man. I think he is Tony Stark. If you were to get somebody to replace him, I don't think you can. It's very much like trying to get somebody to replace Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean. He is that character. He embodies that character. So I'm going to say Robert Downey Jr. because of his Iron Man portrayal. Portrayal, not betrayal. So I think he did really well in the Avengers. He was a massive, massive part in that. What was the moment that made you a wrestling fan for life? Well, even though WrestleMania 8 was my first pay-per-view, I think one of the matches that for me was the match that I never thought I would see was Hulk Hogan versus The Rock at WrestleMania 18. That for me was one match that I could just watch over and over and over again. It was just an absolutely awesome match. The crowd made that match. Obviously the crowd then made Hogan turn back to the red, the red and yellow. But for me that is just a fantastic match that I could just watch time and time again. That'd be one that if, like I had a Desert Island and I had 3 matches, that would be one. That would be the top one. Your favourite item you own can be non-wrestling. Well, it probably will be a wrestling related one, and it would be my Hulk Hogan and Undertaker signed magazine. I deliberated so long after, whenever I was taking stuff to America, and I'd been talking to the likes of Sean Blackford and Robbie Rebel and stuff, and said that, I've got 2 magazines for Hogan to sign and one for the Undertaker. And they were saying, you should get the one signed, with the Undertaker. And I went, no, because I want that just to be for him, and I want the Hogan ones just to be for him. But it was whenever the Undertaker signed it, and the Undertaker said, that magazine's a great shape, brother, and stuff, and kind of just looked at it and, was really happy with what he was signing. And then the way it came out, like whenever he signed, just slightly over where he was, there was room there for Hogan, and I thought that will be, if that's a good talking point for Taker, that's going to be an even better point for Hogan with Undertaker's signature on it. So whenever I met Hogan, obviously you would have heard, if you haven't, then this will be news to you. Hogan was saying, oh, you met the Undertaker, that's pretty cool, brother. And I said that it fails in comparison to what is in front of me. And as great and as awesome as it was meeting the Undertaker, meeting Hulk Hogan, the Undertaker was here, whereas Hulk Hogan was just there. Because there's nothing better than meeting. If you have a favourite superstar, whether you're just in the wrestling or whether you've been into wrestling for years, like Chris meeting Kane, that is huge, and he's met him so many times, and every time he meets him, it's still as amazing as the first time he's met him, I'm sure. It'll be the same for Alan whenever Alan meets Roddy Piper. That will be a big moment for Alan. And Hayley has already met, like so many people like AJ and Mickey James that mean so much to her because, like with her being a big Divas fan. So, unfortunately, Mikey never got to meet his, which was the Ultimate Warrior because the queue was just going so slow. So, unfortunately, he never got to meet him. So, hopefully for WrestleMania 30, Warrior make a sign and let Mikey be first in the queue. No, I'm not going to spit water out like literally. But yeah, that would be mine. So thank you very much for the questions, JJ. Bar24 Power, who's some guy on YouTube. He's pathetic. He's absolutely woeful. No, he's a really, really top lad who actually did a very good video for 2004 Punk, who is taking a little hiatus for YouTube just for some personal issues and things, kind of just some health stuff. And also, if you're watching, John, best of health to you and hope to see you back soon. And where people are if you need us on the other end of the Facebook chat. Marvel of DC, Marvel all the way. Love the Marvel films. As I said, Avengers, Iron Man, big Hulk fan. Not Hogan, but big Incredible Hulk fan. Should have seen these two meshing. Loved the Incredible Hulk TV series with Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno whenever I was a kid. Really did scare me whenever he transformed. It was really well done. So I've always been a Marvel fan. Spider-Man as well. Spider-Man is just great as well. And obviously love the Marvel versus Capcom crossover fighting games as well. They are just fantastic. Your favourite character from favourite comic brand? So from choosing Marvel, I'll say Incredible Hulk. I've never really been a big comic book reader. Like a lot of my friends who I've done podcasts with, like Ryan Porter does a comic podcast, Positively Nerdy. So if you're a comic book fan and you want to hear reviews on comic books, it's a great way to do it. James Sawyer is a huge comic book fan. He particularly loves like the Masters of the Universe one, which I kind of did, but it kind of, you know, after a while, you know, just getting them on the phone starts to get a bit annoying, because I don't really have anywhere close to here that does them, and I hate getting them delivered because it's normally a month behind. So I wish I lived in America where I could just walk down to the local comic book store every week and pick up my favourite one. I'm currently currently working through The Walking Dead, the big massive first book that a good friend of mine, Natalie, got me for Christmas. So I'm working my way through that, and it's awesome, but it's just, there's so much in it. Wrestler you'd like to meet that you haven't already? Stone Cold Steve Austin. Want Stone Cold Steve Austin if I ever get to meet him. That's my bucket list done. I've done 3 things, like it was only really 3 things, and that's kind of like a bonus one. I know like some people may have like 5 or 6, but I've always wanted to go to America. I've always wanted to go to WrestleMania, and I've always wanted to meet Hulk Hogan, and I did all those 3 in the space of 2 weeks after like 35 years, but nevertheless. What is your guilty pleasure pay-per-view? Well, it'll not be December to Dismember, I'll tell you that for nothing. What would it be? I suppose it would probably be one of the... I've always been a big Survivor Series fan, so it'll probably be one of the earlier ones of that, like 1991, because that's whenever 1990 was obviously the debut of The Undertaker. 1991 was Undertaker Hogan, which ties in that. So Survivor Series 91 would probably be that. I love some of the older stuff, but there's only so, like, I don't want to see Virgil versus Niels, you know, like in SummerSlam 92, no thanks. And he says your ringtone puts mine to shame, because I said that like my ringtone was Triple H or something. So Craig WWE t-shirt guy says thanks for the shout out. No problem. Right, so the Barry Mann fan, this is the guy Rory Bradfield, who is a Barry Manilow fan, hence the Barry Mann fan. So his question is quite big, so bear with me a sec. Hey buddy Chris, here's my question for you. We have emailed one another about our fandom over Two Broke Girls and Big Bang Theory, and as discussed, we kind of agree that Bang should come to an end and Broke has limited time left. So my query is this: how would you like to see both shows finish? This could be possible spin-offs or a big finale. Sorry, it's not an interesting question, but at least it's not a personal question. Anybody who's asking those type of things, shame on them. Well, nobody did, Rory, so way to go. So I would have to say that with the Big Bang Theory, you probably have to split them up. You know, you have to, obviously they lived in close quarters for a while, with Sheldon living with Leonard and Penny living across the road, so it'd have to be a case of they all get glittering careers and they all move on to bigger and better things. You know, rather than working at the university, they go off and they are, you know, astrophysicists or work in this field or that field. You could have Howard and the lovely Bernadette, who is probably one of my favourite characters, you know, move away, and then kind of Raj going with them but staying in a different place, and kind of just splitting them all out. They kind of like the way they did with Friends, because some of them moved from one place to the other. So that's what that would be. With Two Broke Girls, I think you kind of want to do the Only Fools and Horses thing, where they've successfully made it, you know, like, and they're making money hand over fist, and they kind of come down and they kind of see that grass isn't always greener, so they kind of go their separate ways, or whether do that or whether just get really successful and then they just go on from there. but it means then you could do like a spin-off show, you know, like if you keep it like that, or you can come back and revisit it some other time. So that's kind of how I would envisage that going. But I think in this day and age, if you're still getting ratings, it'll keep going. But I think there's only so much they could do with Big Bang. I think it's on its like 7th or 8th series now, and it's starting to get a bit samey, you know, like it's not as funny as it was, but then again, nothing really is back, you know, then. So WrestleBuddy 1, the lovely Jess from Australia, mate. I'm not going to read this in an Australian accent, Jess, don't worry. Says, hey Chris, I've got some questions for you. What's your favourite food and place to eat? Can I say home? Because my favourite food would probably be a Sunday dinner, so like roast beef, Yorkshire pudding, or potatoes, gravy, that kind of thing, because you can't whack at mum's cooking. There isn't really that many restaurants out here that have stayed the same. They've either been taken over or the menu's changed or whatever, but because I went to where was that place we went to for frig, I can't even remember, Frankie Benny's, and they changed. It wasn't particularly nice, so I don't know. Home cooked meals normally are the best. Do you have a favourite pay-per-view that you can watch over and over again and never get sick of, and what is it? WrestleMania 17 and WrestleMania 18. What was your favourite signing meeting with a wrestler, past or current? Thanks. It would probably have to be Hulk Hogan, for obvious reasons. Hulk Hogan, William Regal was a pure delight. I did not expect him to be as awesome as he was. And Mickie James, because Mickie James is just a sweetheart. Sorry, I was just looking at the photo of her while I was talking to you. She just spends so much time talking to you. She seems to be personally invested, and she doesn't come across as a fake, you know, whereas you get some people who just seem to put on a facade, you know, like they seem to put on a bravado, a false face of, you know, like, yeah, you know, like, in a way you go. Whereas you could see the video that I took of her with Hayley, and she's asking Hayley about, you know, they go to M&M store and that kind of thing, and she's actually listening to what Hayley has to say, and you know, saying that she'd been to Ireland before, and you know, like she remembered the trip and stuff like that, and the flight and things like that. So, you know, nothing was too much trouble for her. You know, like asked you how you want things spelled out, etc., etc. I asked her for a hug, and she gave me a hug, and that was just lovely. And I just said, you know, you've just made my day, which she had. Yeah, she was lovely. So probably those three. I know you said which one, but those three, and Undertaker as well. But right, so Mr. Begred, 1990, who you would have seen doing his birthday present unveilings. So he was uber chuffed with that Kane painting that Hayley got him. And it was truly awesome. So he asked PS4, Xbox One. I'm going to be getting a PS4 due to the fact that it's 350 quid rather than 430 quid. It's just too much for Microsoft, and I think they've kind of shot themselves in the foot. Sony normally would price themselves out of a market, you know, like they did with the PSP Go, and the Vita was quite high priced, and Sony now that it seems to be coming down, making it a bit more affordable for people. What are you most looking forward to about the trip to WrestleMania 30? I think it's the fact that it's, you know, it's going to be fun, but it's, I'm kind of gutted that Hayley's not going, in all honesty, because she was great to hang around with in WrestleMania 29, you know, like it was good fun spending time with her. But obviously Mikey is going in place of her, so I think it's the fact that, you know, the company that I'm going to be having, and then obviously the UK Rampage fellas are going, you know, you've got like Lualdo, Robbie, Sean and Ollie. There's going to be the likes of Mark Newton's going, and there's, I think, Ben Reed's going as well, so there seems to be quite a lot of YouTube people going. so that's going to be good. I think the likes of the WrestleCon and the Access are going to make it as well. But I think it's just a case of we all get on well, and we all got on well at WrestleMania 29, so I just hope that stays the same. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it being like January time, and then just the weeks ticking away before we actually get to go. And then that's going to be that. Should JR still be commentating in WWE? There's a time wherever people have to let things go, people have to kind of move on from things. I mean, Stone Cold Steve Austin could still be out in the wrestling ring, not actively wrestling, but being a GM or something like that, as could Mick Foley, as could anyone. You get some people who kind of walk away from the limelight, like Austin, like Shawn Michaels, like The Undertaker, who kind of doesn't do as much as he possibly could. Like he kind of just does the WrestleMania and kind of, leaves it alone. And you get people like Hogan or Sting in TNA because they don't have to do as much. They kind of only have to do like appearance every so often, so it's kind of a case of maybe more about the money from them. So, what was the question again? Oh yeah, JR. Maybe it's a case of with him having Bell's palsy and stuff, maybe he just doesn't want to do it now, and wants to concentrate more on other things, like his barbecue thing and stuff like that. But I know he's doing like a UK like speaking tour, which is pretty good. But I think that if you were to have JR back, you need to have him back at the Big Four. You need to have him back at the Rumble, SummerSlam, Mania, and Survivor Series. So you need to have him back at them. So, but I think they just need to find somebody else to replace him. I think King's kind of had to stay. I like JBL as a commentator, but I think Josh Matthews is kind of very underrated in my opinion. Your best experience about YouTube so far? It's probably doing the videos with other people, to be honest with you. I know I've done a video with Alan, and I've done a video with Chris, and I haven't done a video with Hayley yet. I should have actually asked her to do our question and answer one together. But it's doing the videos with other people because you have somebody else to bounce off. I love doing the Northern Ireland Wrestling Connection videos, all together, because there's so much going on. There's 4 different personalities, 4 different kind of ways to actually do the video, and 4 different opinions as well. So I would probably say the favourite part of YouTube is getting to meet Chris through Hayley as well, because I'd watch some of his videos, and then Chris, Hayley and I started meeting up and hanging out, and then that came from that. So I've kind of met a really good friend through this, as Hayley has with Chris. So probably meeting the likes of, say, Sean and Robbie and Ollie through this, and then the likes of Martin and Lualdo, talking to them, things like that. There's been very, very few negatives from YouTube in my opinion. Obviously, no matter what you do, there's going to be people who criticise what you do, and you know what, you can criticise all you want. If people are going to criticise my videos, that's fine, but leave a video response. Don't be a keyboard warrior and type stuff, because voice your opinion then, rather than just sitting beside a keyboard and go like, oh, your videos are crap. Right, that's fine. Well, let's see your video with no subscribers or 4 or whatever. But like if you're going to slag somebody off, have the balls to back it up, is what I'm trying to say. And his last question is episode 1 in Star Wars he's talking about as bad as critics make it out to be? Tata, PS, love the phone call there. Episode 1 is as bad as critics make it out to be. I remember going to see that in 1999 in the cinema and thinking, wow, because it'd been like 16 years since Return of the Jedi, and I was just, wow, that was amazing. Then I went to see it again, that's still good. And then I went to see it again, that's alright. And I went to see it again, that's not very good. And I went to see it again, I went, that's, why have I seen this 5 times in the cinema? But it was because, like it was Star Wars, it was coming back and seeing it. I want to see it as much as I can, and that'll be happening with episode 7. I'll be seeing that and listening as much as I can because I'm so looking forward to that. In fact, there's Razor Wire Reviews, I think his name is, does like a road to episode 7 where, you know, like if there's any news that comes out and stuff like that. So his videos are really, really good. So I would highly recommend you check them out. Yeah, so I would say episode 1. Episode 1 is by far the worst Star Wars film apart from the holiday special. And if you haven't seen the holiday special, then don't, because it's just awful. So yeah, that is going to do it for me. I have messages here, so I will reply to them momentarily. But yes, thank you to everyone who left a message and stuff, left a question for me to answer. There will be the I'll probably do a quick video on Monday, or I may do it, I don't know whether I'll do it around the Chris's or not, after the pay-per-view, but I'll be announcing the winners of the Best of Monday Night Nitro Volume 2, courtesy of Fremantle, WWE Home Video, WWDVD.co.uk, whatever way you want to sugarcoat it. I'll be announcing the winners there from on Monday and ask them to email me their addresses and stuff, and yeah, I'll just be doing that. So yeah. So thanks to everyone who is a subscriber, thanks to everyone who has liked this video. Click like now. Thanks to everyone who I've met on YouTube, you know, like as I said, I've been here over a year now, and this is video number 61. Going forward though, I will be trying to put up the WrestleShock reviews on this now. Doing it on the iPad for some reason is a lot harder than doing it on the iPhone because it's audio, you have to drag the picture out and it's just a pain in the backside, whereas on the phone it's quicker, but for some reason it doesn't let you watch it on your mobile devices. So the last one there, I can only apologise that you can watch it on your iPhone or iPad or mobile device. But yeah, going forward I'll probably have them up. I want to try and do more crossover videos with the guys, you know, like if I'm out with Chris or Alan or Hayley or Mikey or whatever, and try and do like a video with them. I don't know whether I'll have it at the end of this video, so stay tuned to the end of this video. There may be something here, but if not, it'll be on the next video. And yeah, that's going to do it for me. Thank you very much for watching. It's been about 40 odd minutes, so hopefully I have not bored you. And yeah, that's going to do it. So thank you very much for watching, and until the next video, bye.